a trap, like a hip hop producer from Atlanta, Georgia. I've been working with. I've been working a little bit with, like me and Z are constantly working, and we got some tunes with Sasha and Bassface we're going to release this year under Low Down Deep as well. I don't know. We'll just play it by ear, man. We'll figure it out. There's lots of shit going on.
Oh, just so you know, we are recording.
Shut up.
No, I'm serious. While you were in the middle of your rant there, I'm like, record. Because it was perfect. You started explaining everything you're doing, and I thought that would be perfect context.
You're amazing.
But you know what? Let's refresh. Let's go back a little. White Wolf and I were just there for my listeners. This is MC White Wolf, round 2 on Running Errands. Let's go back and talk about what you were just saying. White Wolf was telling me he's got 3 EPs he's working on. One's going to be drum and bass, one's going to be hip hop, and one's going to be grime. So I got to ask, are they all lyrically different, or are you just mixing your lyrics around all those different sounds?
No, man, they're all lyrically different.
Wow.
They are all like my grime is very grimy. My hip hop I've been working on is very emotional. It's very much centered on about, I guess, people with mental health issues and fighting depression, and you know, I've lived with those things myself. So it's about saying, yo, listen, I got my, you know, there's hope out there. You know, if you work towards you know, loving yourself and that inner growth, and like really putting some time in towards yourself to heal yourself, because a lot of times, you know, these things that come from depression and mental health issues are luggage that we all carry and we don't deal with. So, you know, if we deal with them, you know, I'm lucky that I have music to be able to deal with things like that and help me as a vessel to get that stuff off my chest, so to speak.
Well, and one thing I'll say is I find hip-hop or even grime as better avenues for those type of lyrics than drum and bass. No disrespect to drum and bass MCs, but it's hard to tell a story at a rave and have people actually care to listen to it.
To be honestly, my drum and bass, you know, drum and bass lyrics are more fun. You know, they're more fun and poppy, and it's about having a good time and peace and love and unity and connection and just all about the experience of togetherness, in my opinion, anyway.
No, I agree with you. Now, we could say that even guys from your crew, your royal bloodline, that are different, like Z and A2, who do come with more of a lyrical approach that has maybe a story or a sense of meaning rather than dancing, moving, grooving, they're talking about some of the political issues we just discussed.
Yo, man, listen, I'm going to tell you, like, A2, let's talk about A2 first. So A2, I call him the granddaddy, you know what I mean? He's a little older than us, and I swear he gets younger with age, but he on his mental level and on a lyrical capacity, he is one of the best MCs that North America has to offer. Now, coming in with Z has worked very hard over the last decade, honing his craft and becoming, you know, the MC and the artist that he's become. He is a deep intellectual thinker, and he thinks about the problems at hand, and he speaks about them. You know, me and Z work a lot closely together, so a lot of the times our writing styles are sort of similar, you know, or like lately we've been working on a few tracks together where we're doing, we have a new thing we're coming up with this year. You know, I guess we'll let it out of the bag now. So me and Z are going to be doing a duo thing called WWZ. It's just our own thing that we're going to be doing just as MCs. We're going to be putting out an album this year as well. That was kind of sneak peek, but I'm going to let it out of the bag, I guess, right now. There's a lot of work going in over the last little while.
Well, I love that the acronym WWZ could also be perceived as World War Z. That's
yes,
awesome.
Yes. Yeah, we're kind of playing off that a little bit too, right? It's like it's the end all, you know what I mean? When me and Z get on the mic, it's like, listen, you know, we make other MCs lose their confidence. I don't mean to be too cocky, but you know what I mean? I throw it down and Z throws it down, and I'm confident in our abilities, and just, you know, we're just supposed to have a good time, man. That's really what it's all about.
I feel okay keeping up with you guys for about 5 minutes. And then I'm like, okay, you guys can take it from here.
I appreciate it. That's a compliment, man. That's a compliment. I appreciate that.
No, it really is something special. I'm so happy to see that Toronto has a sustaining industry with guys like yourself, Z, A2, and many more. But let's talk about the Royal Bloodline for a moment. How did you guys formulate that crew? Where did it begin?
Oh, man, let me tell you. Okay, so Royal Bloodline was something that was kind of formed years ago, but we never really pushed it or came hard with it. So Royal Bloodline was going to be, I don't know if you remember, I had a company a few years ago, back in the day, called Black Crown Productions. So Black Crown Productions, that's when we threw that big, Canada Day party. We brought Herb Z, Logan D, and Magistrate.
Okay.
So, we, out of Barcode, what I wanted to do is we're just trying to push a lot of the Canadian artists, right? Like, much of like what we're doing now, and everybody's joining together. I was trying to do back then, but it seemed like everybody really wasn't ready to do that yet, you know what I mean? So, like, Royal Bloodline was supposed to be the division of, like, my brothers, or the MCs and the crew and the friends of mine that I call my brothers. So, it just never manifested. So when I came home this time, after serving my time for my, stupid decisions in my life,
Yes.
I made a decision that, like, music is what I'm going to do. This is my talent. This is my gift. This is what I want to push into it. So Royal Bloodline really was the brotherhood of, family that was, we're not really blood, but we have a love for each other and a bond that is deep as blood. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So Royal Bloodline really came because, it was basically an opinion that we just feel we're all the best at what we do, and we're destined to be the kings of this game. So we formed the Royal Bloodline.
Well, it's a great synergy in that you guys all play very well off each other. It's not just a bunch of talented artists. It's guys that have the same type of sound or goal in mind, I guess. I want to clarify who we got. We've got Brock out, Trupa.
Yes.
We've got White Wolf, A2, Z.
Yes.
Is Caddy in there?
That's right. So Caddy is not an official member of Royal Bloodline. He's an honorary member of Royal Bloodline.
Oh, okay.
Caddy is Create DnB in the Six. He's one of our hosts that we do Create DnB in the Six with.
Well, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. I kind of want to take us back for a moment. I want to talk about your hip hop album. You talked about mental health, I believe substance abuse being a topic. Recently, we had a campaign across Canada. I don't know if it was international or not, but it was the Bell Let's Talk campaign. You're familiar with what I'm talking about? Actually.
Go ahead. I'm not too familiar with it, but I was just gonna say, like, I seen it on Facebook. People were sending me the messages about Let's Talk, and it's gonna donate money, but I think really it was mostly about a scam. I think like I myself, I see a few other friends of mine, and I don't know if you noticed, but for the month of November, I was posting like inspirational quotes, or like quotes that I found spoke to me, and I would write a little blurb about it on Instagram, and put this quote and how I could relate it to my life. And I got a lot of response from that, and people would reach out to me, and I have a lot of conversations with people, and I'm having conversations with people that I have no idea who they are, but they're just saying thank you for, like, making this little post. And I just mean, if it's that simple, man, it's just like talking to people. Like, when I walk down the street, I smile in people's faces. I say good morning, you know what I mean? How are you today? And the response I get from people is just always positive. There's a lot of mind your own business that goes on in the big cities. Like I've recently, or I guess not recently, it's been a few months now. I've moved to the country. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I'm in the country, and I've just been working on music. And I mean, the lifestyle out here is a lot more laid back than, let's say, it would be in Toronto. And the people out here are a lot more friendly. So you become more friendly, you know what I mean? Like, in the city, you just mind your own business. You don't look people in the face. You don't say hi. You just go on about your business and go on about your day, and, try not to invade in other people's space while you're on the TTC, right? But, out here, you wave and you say hello to people. Like, even when you're driving past, you throw a wave up there, and they wave back, or they wave to you and you wave back. And it's a sense of community, and it's a sense of, I don't know, I think people need to get back to that. It's just like, listen, that's another human being. That's a person over there. And if we get to that sense of community and all work together, I mean, we can really fix a lot of the, craziness that's going on in the world. But that's a whole other topic.
I was going to say we could go on for hours about the politics behind communities and government and all that. But one thing I want to say about small town versus big city. I had my father come out to visit me 6-7 years ago, and we were on our way to the baseball park up the street. And one of the guys sitting on his porch, as we walked by, went, "Hello," and I went, "Hi," and my dad went, "Who the fuck's that?" And I said, "I don't know." And why is he talking to us? And I'm like, he's just saying hello. He's like, my dad was so confused and angered. Like, who says hello? Like, what is his fucking problem to get in our business and our life? Why does he want to know how we are? And I'm like, Dad,
hey man,
being nice.
You just see to create another human. Like, you know what? Like, if it gets to like the end times and like the world goes crazy, or like if it's like Walking Dead, you see another person, you're gonna be happy that you see a person that says hello to you. You know what I mean? Like, you're desolate in the middle. You know, it's just all a matter of like perspective and situation, really. You know, if you're alone walking in the woods for 4 days and someone says hello to you, you're gonna be really happy about it.
I think anyone can relate to what the human mind requires when it comes to human interaction. You take people and put them in solitary confinement. Look what happens to them. So there's definitely something. Even people that are antisocial need some form of human interaction. But yeah, let's not go too far off into the philosophy of this stuff. Okay, let's talk about Create DnB then. Sorry. Before we talk about Create DnB, I just want to speak up about Bell Let's Talk. I noticed you mentioned it was a scam. I've heard that from a lot of people because I think it's easy to point at Bell and call it a corporate money grab, which maybe it is. Maybe they do have their own monetary incentives and that it does give them tax breaks. However, with that said, I think it's vital for big corporations to use their power to help small businesses like CAMH. CAMH did receive a large amount of money. I don't know the exact sum, but one of my friends was actually one of the campaigners for CAMH. And he told me that it was actually, it hurt him. He said when he went on Facebook to post about his fundraiser, all he got were people hating and telling him that he's working for a scam, he's da-da-da. And it's like, listen, he works for CAMH. He doesn't work for Bell. And he's working in partnership with the people at Bell to create this fundraiser. And at the end of the day, they did raise a lot of money. But it reminded me of, I went to see Metric, the band Metric, for free. They put on a free show downtown. Now, the way they put it on was Samsung had sponsored the event. Now, before the concert, a guy from Samsung went on stage to kind of talk about their new products and stuff, and people just went, boo, get off, bring on Metric. And people in the crowd were like, fucking stupid corporations. I'm like, guys, it's this corporation that gave us this. You know, like, it gave us the event, and that's what I mean. So when it comes to Bell Let's Talk, what I would say is, let's look at the positive things. The fact that they created a dialogue, that they got people speaking, and even if they are doing it because there's a monetary incentive, there's other aspects that come out of it, you know, like Center of Addiction and Mental Health.
The bottom line is that if you're suffering, and this is what, you know, the message, and I tell people this, and all my friends all the time, if you're suffering or in the hard place and you feel like you're alone, call me. You know what I mean? Reach out to me, message me. Like, I'll wake up, I'll talk to you, man. Like, I've been in that position where you feel like you're alone and you don't have nobody, and it's the worst feeling in the world, man. And I think people need to have more compassion, and I think we've got to get rid of the stigma that's on mental health. But
well, and here's one thing I'll say to that. Mental health is tough to deal with because not everyone's ready to deal with it. But when it even comes to dealing with each other, I think we've painted each other with such a thin brush in that a human being is what they are based on one thing that they've done now. And it's like, you know, you make one mistake in this day and age and you get labeled as that one thing when you're not necessarily the mistake you made, right?
Yes. And then, you know what, bro, if anybody knows that, I'm telling you it's me.
For sure.
I've made my fair share of mistakes in the past, and you know what, though I've learned from them now, so, you know, hopefully I can help some other people. I've had people tell me that my music helps them and stuff, and that, like, you know, the music that I was making, that they feel like I was making it just for them. You know what I mean? When people tell me that, it really makes me humbled, man. It really puts me on a level like I feel like, wow, you know, it makes it all worth it, man. I'm happy I could reach out to somebody and you know, let them know like it's not that bad. The tough times never last. You know what I mean? There's one thing I had to learn when I went through my depression, and, you know, when I go through it in my life, because it's something I still battle with, right? It happens. It's just, I can't explain it. It just comes, and I just know those sad days don't last, though. You know what I mean? At the end, I keep telling myself, okay, it's not going to last, and they never do. And then I get fine, and I get good and happy. But when I'm sad, I have my music, and I get in the zone, and I write some really deep, heartfelt lyrics, and you know, hopefully everybody will receive them well when they hear them come this summer.
Well, and they get to hear them over and over again. That's the great thing. Like, I want to ask you if you could break down one of your lyrics. I don't do this very often, especially with MCs, but there's a lyric, and you know which one I really like. It's the one that you kicked in the NAGK video, and it just flows so well. What is the breakdown of that lyric that I'm talking about? You know the one.
Oh, the NAGK video. Bro, let me think. The vegetarian, Sumerian, Sagittarian, Aryan?
No, I don't think so. I brought it up to you the first time we met outside of when I emceed with you and Z and Caddy at that little studio.
A straight give 'em Caesar run dripping?
That might be it.
Is it when a straight give 'em Caesar run dripping? I'm in the mood to catch 'em, I slipping. When I'm in the mic to rave, start rinsing. I chat bars. They listen. That one?
No, it's
when I talk about.
It's like it's the way that you flow it. The syllables just keep going, and I think it's in the like third little section. You're almost making me want to pull up the video. It's one of the. Here's the thing. It's the structuring of your flow that I find so interesting because your syllables slap on the beat so well. I wondered, did the words come first or was it sounds? Because do you get what I'm asking?
Honestly, you want to know if I wrote it to the music or did I just write the words?
Or were the words even words at first, or was it a sound?
To be honest, like they were the words, right? Like I write differently a lot. Like so, I'll write something, but as I write, like it's different. If I have an instrumental to write to, I will write to the instrumental. But when I write, I'll write. But I can also change my lyrics or the way I flow the lyrics to complement the beat that I'm flowing to.
And you know what? I don't even know, because as a lyricist, I'm someone who really appreciates this dissection of how you compound your lyrics. And I don't know if that'll transition to our listeners, because I don't know if they're going to care about my mumbo jumbo when it comes to. I'm very interested in understanding what an MC hears before it becomes what we hear. You know, because I think there's a lot of ways to formulate, many ways to skin the cat, I guess. And I like to get inside the artist's mind and understand that. Like for me personally, it's usually sounds before it becomes words. And you know,
right.
You know, if it's. Do you remember Whistle Crew back in the days? You'd blow your whistle while the beat was going.
Yes, Little Whistle Crew.
Yeah, and you'd be like do 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 do. Yeah. So to be honest, that's what I do basically when I'm writing lyrics. Is I'm doing that kind of stuff over a beat, and then they become words. But sometimes words just pop in my head, and then I got to find a way to flow them. You know, so it's.
Honestly, it's like. To be honest with you, I have like a rhyming disease, man. Like on all day, like my family is just like a word will come up and I'll just start rhyming. Like they'll say a word and if it catches my ear, literally just start rhyming words that like go with it, like just talking. And I'll be like, oh, and she's like, Mom will laugh at me and be like, there you go again. Like, he found a word he likes, and I'll just, I don't know, man. I can't help it. But usually when I write, it's like. I have something to say, and it's like I'm trying to explain what's going on in my mind a lot of the times, and a lot of the times, like mostly for the drum and the bass, it's more about like it's the vibe. I'm trying to deliver that message, maybe of unity or the message of like it's the party. It depends. I have lyrics for every occasion. I can tell you.
Would you say that you have any sound system? I've been bringing that up a lot lately on the podcast. Sound system culture. Would you say you grew up listening to any type of sound system, or soca or dance hall, any kind of reggae influence in what you're doing?
Oh man. Okay. Well, I'll tell you, hip hop was always my first and foremost growing up. Like my roots was hip hop. Then came into like reggae and dance hall. And I fell in love with that style of music. Honestly, when I was young, I had not much to do as a child, so I literally, music was something that I could grasp, and I had someone at a young age help me learn music. So, by grade 7, I had, university-level music theory, and I was just, learning every instrument I could growing up through high school. So when I hit high school and they had, an actual band room music class, I was like, okay, I was already playing percussion. I had my first drum set when I was 7, so I was already drumming for years. And then when I got there, I was like, okay, I can play drums. I already know how to read music. I'm like, I want to start learning instruments. So I learned trumpet, and then once you learn trumpet, you learn the fingering for all the brass. So I went through that. Once you can figure out the embouchures for different, the mouthpieces for different instruments, and then from there, I just started picking through almost every instrument you can think of, going through music in high school, just trying to, like, music was the only thing I loved. I always had a passion for it, and something deep inside my soul always told me from a child that this is what you're supposed to do. And so I have no choice but to do music, no matter what I do. If I'm working in a kitchen, when I'm doing restaurant work, or if I'm, doing construction, building structures, no matter what, I'm always doing music. It's just something I have to do.
Well, it's very interesting. I didn't know that aspect of you, and I just want to explain to the listeners something that you were saying there. Is once you understand the mouth positioning for a lot of woodwinds, you can play them. Once you understand the brass, you play them. And then reading the treble versus the bass clefs, those are two different measures you need to understand. And you're saying you mastered all of that.
I learned it very young. Yeah, man. I was always very inclined with music. I just made. I just made bad decisions in my life, and unfortunately, it's just when you listen to my music, mostly my hip hop stuff, you'll find out my childhood wasn't the greatest childhood, and I deal as part of the baggage I had to deal with. I carried for so long, and I had to deal with before I could really get my mind right and become the white wolf, so to speak.
Sure. Okay, let's talk Create DnB. Where did that begin?
Man, okay, so let me tell you about Create DnB. So what I know about Create DnB, so when I came home from my sentence, I knew about DJ Blackley for years, world record holder, Create DnB. I came home and MCZ was like, hey, so, he's been a brother of mine since day one. He's like, we've been waiting for you, bro. He's like, I've been doing this radio show for DJ Blackley over here, Create DnB in the 6. And he's like, there's a spot for you if you want. I'm like, of course I want, man. Like, I was under restrictions still, but I was able to go do the radio show every weekend. So I managed to go do that, and Zach brought me on, and we've been rocking shows ever since. And apparently we got one of the better shows, or one of the best rated shows, should I say, not better, one of the best rated shows with the most views on Create DnB. So not only are we, doing, I think, a really well and productive show for Toronto, but it's also international. We're doing a really productive show internationally. And, some of us in the group have gotten some pretty big bookings for it so far this year. So, watch out for MCZ this year. Innovation, main stage.
Congratulations to MCZ on that. It's not just an accomplishment for him; it's an accomplishment for Toronto Jungle. And
yes, man.
To have one of our artists, as talented as he is, and as honed and grown up in our scene, he's a representation of our culture over there, and I'm very proud of him and happy to call him my friend. Big ups to MCZ. Congrats, Mazel Tov, L'chaim.
Yeah. It's an honor, man. It's an honor to be able to call him my brother and work with him. And as I told him, it's well deserved. He's been putting in a lot of the work over the years, especially the last few years. He's been doing shows globally, and he's got some videos out this year with Stars and Diza, last year, and Decoy. Me and Zach did we did a remix to Jump that was released under Low Down Deep, which was a Dominator and Logan D mix. Mm-hmm. Rest in peace, Dominator. So that video, that track, we vocalized, and we gave it back to them for free. And we told Logan D to everything is just it was just for charity, to raise money for Dominator and his family.
Very, very, very admirable. And if people want to hear that song, where would they go to listen to it?
I know for sure it's got to be on Z's SoundCloud for sure. I don't. To be honest with you, I'm so horrible with the computer thing. I don't know where it would be under the Low Down Deep thing. But we can definitely figure it out. I can talk to Danny and we can figure that out and put the link towards it.
Wicked. Sorry, I gotta apologize to my listeners and you. I just had a call coming in. That's one of the downfalls using my phone, is you can still hear it when it rings.
Okay, man.
Okay.
It makes it real. It makes it real for the listeners.
It's very real. Okay, what would you say was the highlight for you in 2018?
Oh, to be honest with you, being released from prison, man, that was my highlight. But not only just that, like.
Hold on. Before you go any further, what are the rules though? You're released, but you're not allowed out the way that the rest of the world is, are you?
So let me tell you. So I'm still recently on parole. I have 4 months left. I've completed almost all of it. Once that's done, I'm done. I've paid my debt to society. I'm a free man, and yeah, it's actually the end of May, May 24th. So that's why I wasn't accepting bookings till the end of May, June. But it's just perfect timing coming for summer
That is
of
perfect.
2019.
Good stuff. Okay, so other than getting out of jail, he did not break out, folks. He did not.
No. I earned it.
You earned it.
2019. Let me see.
No,
man,
2018.
So much has gone on.
What was the
Or
highlight of 2018?
Sorry. Oh man. To be honest with you, like I don't want to sound soft or sentimental, but like reestablishing the relationships, man. Just with like not only my friends here, but like good friends and artists from overseas that I consider good friends. Logan D, MC Fun. When those lads came over, those are really good friends of mine. MC Fun's, not only do I consider him like a brother or a mentor, so to speak. Like he's really a close friend of mine. We speak quite often, and not just on a music level, like on a deep intellectual level. And you know what I mean. He's a genuine guy and just a good friend of mine, man.
You guys play video games
really
together. You guys are playing video games together.
No. Actually, to be honest, I'm not a gamer. I don't play games with him. I know a lot. Some of the boys are gamers and they play games, but no, we just speak and we talk about music and stuff and life and just what I mean. Like I could call him and just talk about just life stuff, and he's a friend. He's a genuine friend, and I was just happy to establish certain relationships with people, and I was really happy, just honored by the love I receive from people. They a lot of people seen the changes that I've made in my life, and it's it just made me feel real humbled and real honored, and I'm so grateful that I have an opportunity that I can make up, for all the stupid decisions I made, and people can see that I'm not just an addict or just a gangster or like whatever their image there was of me. They can see that I'm just a genuine person.
Well, it's the best way to say it. Sorry if it sounds harsh, but it's better to see that it's not a wasted talent. Like that's what I would have said before about you. It's a shame that it's such a wasted talent. Now at least we're not wasting that talent. You're utilizing your skills and providing the world some value. With that, I've got a couple more questions for you. This is one I've been asking a lot of people recently. If you could have a Mount Rushmore of drum and bass, who would your four faces be?
Oh man, how do I even start? Can I have one for DJs and MCs?
Go ahead.
Okay, so MCs. Okay, we're gonna have Skibbity. Okay, first and foremost. Okay, I should have said Stevie Hyperdy. R.I.P. We gotta have Stevie Hyperdy. Skibbs, Stormin. Another one, R.I.P. Stormin. I value Stormin so much as an MC because he was so diverse, and I appreciate that because he did. I don't know. He did Crime as Teddy Bruckshot.
I don't know any of the songs that he would have done, but I do know his voice. I know his hosting skills.
Okay, so he did. Stormin did drum and bass, but he did Grime with a mask on his face under Teddy Bruckshot.
Okay.
You change up his voice and do like a real patois and be like, you don't know, say Teddy Bruckshot, not a bass, and like run some rhymes, and like nobody knew for years. So Stormin's got to be up there. What is it, 4? I get one more Dutchy MC. One more Dutchy MC. I'm gonna give it to my brother MC Fun. I gotta give it to Fun because the hooks and the rhythms, man. He makes it right. He's the bar king, right? You gotta give it to the bar king. Let me see, DJs.
Well, hold on. One guy, I have to shout out my favorite MC because he wasn't in your list, but MC Det would have to make my, if I had an MC.
Okay.
I respect your list, but he's my favorite. He's special.
You know what? That's one of the pioneers, so of course, big up, respect to Det. Now, for DJs, two right off the bat I have to give it to is Ray Keith, because without fucking Renegade Terrorists, I don't think I would ever fall in love with drum and bass. And the next one would be Dillinger. So those are my first two.
Sure.
And, oh man, see, so many good DJs and producers that come up these days. I have to go old school and say maybe like, oh man, Freaky Flow.
Wow. I'm sure he'd love to hear that. I got to play this clip for him at some point. You were named to Mount Rushmore, buddy. Here's your badge.
Freaky Flow. I give him, just because, man, like when I started drum and bass as just a raver, I didn't even know I was going to MC. Like when I used to like MC to myself, like in the corner and like a couple friends, like it was those sets and mixes that I would listen to. Now, if I have one more DJ, you know what? I'm going to give it to the new school because, I love and respect this guy as an artist, as a producer, as a DJ, and the sound of his music that he makes, Mackie G.
Mackie G?
I'm going to put Mackie G on there, man.
Wow.
I love and I rate Mackie G. I know it's crazy, right?
I don't think, to be honest, you've given 8 names, all talented artists, but I don't think anyone will ever give the same 8. Like, I've had a few repeats. This one won't be one of them. But that's unique. That's great. I like fresh names, and I respect every name that you put on there. For me, when I had to do my 4, I just said telepathy. I said put Andy C, Skibba, Det, and Stevie Hyper D.
I think the only reason I didn't say Andy C is because everybody says Andy C, right? Everyone's like Andy C, and I'm like, Andy C, you have enough love to the rest of the world. So White Wolf, I'm gonna give some love to the rest of the people.
I could totally appreciate that. Okay, final question for you: who would win in a fight between a black bear and a gorilla?
Oh, a gorilla's gonna fuck a black bear up.
You think the gorilla would fuck the black bear up?
Oh, hands down, bro. Hands down. Black bears aren't that big. Sometimes, rarity, you can get a 400 or 500 pounder, but on average, you're 200-300 pounds, and I think a gorilla will totally smash a black bear.
Okay.
I'm pretty.
Let's change the bear. Let's give it a polar bear versus the gorilla.
Oh, a polar bear versus a gorilla. I think the gorilla's still gonna win, man. Because polar bears, yes, are the biggest bears. They're tall, lanky, and I'm sure they'll put up a good fight, but I've seen some videos of some gorillas go nuts, and I don't think it has nothing. Yeah, I think the gorilla will win still.
You know what? I brought this up to somebody else, and the first thing they said is, where are they fighting? I said, let's give it even.
It's a good one, actually.
It's a good
Where are they fighting?
Yeah, are they fighting in the Arctic or are they fighting in the jungle? Where are they fighting? And I'm like, well,
I don't think it matters.
No, common ground. I said, put him in the Middle East. We'll put him in the middle of a desert. And he's like, well, fuck. Okay, then I give it to the gorilla. He's like, but if you move it north, I think if that bear gets a swipe, it's a matter of who gets a hold of who first, is what he said. I'm like, that's probably right. All right, well, it's fun. I appreciate you taking the time. I want to talk to you a little bit more, so stay on the phone with me, okay, buddy?
Yeah, man, no problem.
All right, to my listeners, that was him, MC Whitewolf. Big things coming in 2019. As he said at the beginning, 3 EPs going to be dropping, 1 grime, 1 hip-hop, 1 drum and bass, and I'm sure there's going to be more. It's only February, beginning of February right now, so who knows what he's going to come up with in the next few months. But as always, thanks for tuning in, and until next time, guys, peace out.